Hey everyone, I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to another round with Heben and Tracy. Hey.
I know that we are all dying to get into this fantastic, amazing episode, but first we have some big news to announce. Heben,
Huge
the
news.
honor is yours. Drum roll.
We are going to be doing our first live show at the WNYC Women's Podcast Festival, which we're so excited to be a part of.
And this is the first year for the podcast festival too, right?
Yes.
Amazing.
And we love WNYC. We're so honored to be invited. We're going to be headlining the How to Be a Grown-Ass Podcaster Festival.
Listen.
We're so excited. The event is going to be on June 5th at 8 p.m. at WNYC's performance venue, the Jerome L. Green Space in New York.
Sorry. I just love people named Jerome.
You can find all the info about this at thegreenspace.org. Green is spelled with an E, Greene. We're going to be interviewing Roxane Gay.
Oh my God.
The esteemed author, and we're going to try to play a round of drunken debates with her.
That's going to be the best.
So again, that's Friday, June 5th at the Green Space in New York. You can find all the info at thegreenspace.org, green with an E.
Come see us, please.
Come turn up with us, shit.
We love you. We want to see all of your beautiful faces. I assure you are still in the right place. This is another round, but we have some new theme music.
Yes.
Sent over to us by the one and only Miss Jean Grey.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
It's so beautiful.
We can't wait for you to hear all of it. If you were really, really attached to the other music that we've been using, don't worry. We are still going to use music from Don Will of the almighty Tanya Morgan. So we just basically have a surplus of dope-ass music to play during the show. And we are blessed, and so are you. And we'll actually have Jean Grey on the show as a guest in a couple of weeks. So.
She's so much fun.
Yeah.
So on today's show, we're going to be talking with the incredibly talented and like tiny young human, Kaya Thomas.
Woo-hoo,
You're dope, girl.
woo-hoo.
If you don't know who the incredible Kaya Thomas is, she's a coder. She's a college student. She was on Black Girls Rock recently, being honored by the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama.
Which is insane.
Yes. And she's built her own app called We Read Too. I mean, she's just an all-around dope human. So we're really excited
like
to have her
19,
here.
20?
Yes.
Amazing. What was I doing at 19 and 20? Sleep.
Yeah, I was just
Sleeping
in
and
my
eating.
room the whole time.
Just hanging out.
We're going to be doing some more listener questions.
Mm-hmm.
Try to answer this question.
Oh, man.
And then we're going to buy around, as usual.
Yeah. We seek to be an ever positive influence on the teens.
On the kids.
And the kids. So we are not drinking the devil's juice today. So if we sound
Kaya's
sober.
19, so you know, we're going to
Yeah.
sound sober.
Hopefully we sound sober for at least part of every episode. I know that the Jesus episode was a very special train wreck that will never happen again. But I don't know. I think I can still be charming sober.
Tracy, you are hella charming.
Aw, so are you, girl.
All right, let's get the show on the road.
Okay, let's do it. What's up?
So I was reading something in the New York Times recently. It was called Black Women Want Top Jobs, but They Aren't Getting Them. Basically just like an article looking through some basic data about how Black women perform in the workspace, like what their actual challenges are. I mean, even basic things like the wage gap number that we cite.
Yeah, as both Black women and women of color.
Yes.
This kind of directly affects us. There were some very interesting facts in the article that I would like to read for our listeners. They said that 22% of Black women want a powerful job with a prestigious title compared with just 8% of white women, according to the report. Now, I mean, it's a very subjective thing to try to measure, right? So I feel kind of like weird about the stats.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay. All right, anyway. They went on to say that Black women are also more likely to be confident that they could succeed in such a job. 43% have that confidence compared to 30% of white women. But Black women often aren't attaining the positions they aspire to. 44% of them say they feel stalled in their careers, compared to 30% of white women, and 55% are unsatisfied with their current rate of promotion, compared to 28% of white women.
I mean, this kind of data is always like something we already know. It's just useful to have the data.
Right.
The whole sort of like conversations around lean in don't take into account the circumstances of women of color in the workplace. So we were thinking, what if we had some honest job descriptions?
What if?
That actually detail the kind of labor you have to do in addition to your work.
For Black women and women of color.
Heben and Tracy read a list.
Must be proficient in Microsoft Word, Excel, and pretending that you didn't hear the racist and sexist jokes you overhear in the break room.
Ooh.
I mean, if I knew that, I could prepare for that. Then I could lean in a completely different way.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so real, though. All right. Must be comfortable speaking in front of crowds and on behalf of your entire race.
I do that daily.
Oh, me too.
Must be a team player, which means not complaining when someone touches your hair without asking or calls you by the name of the other Black person in the office, and not making people uncomfortable by calling out their prejudices.
Ooh.
It's
the team player thing, yo. It gets at a lot.
That just means don't make me uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
Like for anybody.
Yeah. Another requirement. Fluency in Java, HTML, and coded racial language plus. I tried to make a programming joke, guys.
I think you did good. We'll see.
No, but like racial coded language is real. This is basically, the pilot of Blackish. We want an urban campaign. What do you think that means?
Must be comfortable multitasking, organizing meetings, and having long, unsolicited conversations about The Wire.
It's funny because like The Wire was on so long ago. Find a different show.
I feel like that is what it must have been like in the 90s when Boys in the Hood came out. Like I bet the Wire is now what Boys in the Hood was to white people in the 90s.
Oh. Next job description. Previous experience with smiling while your coworkers speak to you in outdated slang required.
You got me straight tripping, boo.
I'm just
chillaxing.
Oh man, where did they get it?
And there's always somebody who will only refer to me in past jobs as like girlfriend.
Oh yeah, with the little
Hey Susie.
Snap.
Hi Karen. What's up, girlfriend?
I didn't say you could speak to me that way.
You literally.
No.
How dare you speak to me, as you like to say.
I'm your coworker, ma'am.
But the cool thing is that they could also be very honest about the benefits too to working in these jobs.
Ooh, like what?
Benefits include competitive salary, health, dental, and the privilege of being the face of diversity for the entire company. Lucky you.
It's always phrased as a privilege, not a burden.
Right.
Like, that's easy. I'm just going to be the face of all diversity at your company.
I'm just going to be the reason why you cannot be racist. Because I'm here, because I exist.
Oh, man. This old job I had, this woman was just like, I think she really just thought having me there was enough.
Yep.
That's just it. She's done her job. That's it. It's like, man, we have a lot to work on. This is a never-ending list.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, we're going to just keep updating this list.
Yeah, we definitely could. Okay, so this is a very good segue into our interview with Kaya Thomas, who is already like neck deep in a very white male dominated atmosphere, working in coding and with smart people stuff like computers, things that I don't get. Hi, Kaya.
Hey,
Thank
girl.
you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Stewed,
As Tracy likes to say.
as I like to call
But
it.
I've definitely adopted it. You can't lose with Tracy.
So I first found, I did not find out about you through Black Girls Rock. Like I'd seen your name. I'd seen your name. Jesus.
Seen it.
I seen it with my own ass. I seen it. But I seen your name all over the internet and social media, and I knew a little bit of your story. But when Black Girls Rock aired, I was like, hey, I know this girl. First of all, the show was like amazing. I was at my television screaming my head off, like beginning to end. But I didn't fully know like a lot about you until Tatiana M. Ali, also known as Ashley from the Freaking Fresh Prince of Freaking Bel-Air, gave you this amazing introduction on the show. And let's play it really quickly.
While searching the web for technology vlogs one day, our first mad girl, 19-year-old coder and social entrepreneur Kaya Thomas, was disheartened to see that no one looked like her. With the hope that more women of color would join the technology vlogging space, Code with Kaya was born. She is the founder of a STEM camp for girls, as well as the developer of We Read Too, a cultural literacy app that helps readers find books written by and featuring people of color, for breaking down barriers for girls in technology and empowering them to believe that girls can do anything. Kaya Thomas, you rock.
Yes, you do, right, girl. Yes, you do.
Thank you.
And you looked amazing, of course. I have so many questions.
Yes.
But we want to start off by asking all of our guests this question. Even though we just heard part of it, I would love to hear you in your own words. What do you do and why?
All right. Good question. I use technology to help communities I care about. And I do it because I see that there's a lot of need for certain technology. And because there are not a lot of people of color, behind the scenes being creators, that we miss out on some of the things that we need with technology. So that's what I want to do. I want to work to get that technology to us.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so how did you get started doing that? Like, where does one even begin?
Yeah, it was really, really random. I was actually into environmentalism, and I was going to be going to Iceland and doing all that stuff. But I went to college and I didn't like it. So I was like, okay, what do I want to do now? And I always liked math and science, so I know I wanted to do something with that. And it was winter break, and I was looking at TED Talks, and I came across Kimberly Bryan's TED Talk, founder of Black Girls Code.
Black women only represent 3% of those receiving undergraduate bachelor degrees in computer science. And if you look at Latinas and our Native American sisters, that number is less than 1%. So the burning question is why, in this age of ubiquitous access to digital technology that has really engulfed the entire globe, why are women of color and women in general being summarily bypassed as leaders in the innovation economy?
And she was like, yeah, why are we consumers and not creating the technology? And I was like, that makes
question.
Good question. So then I just started learning how to code by myself online. And I had the idea.
Where? How?
Codeacademy.com. Get on it.
So you find the YouTube tutorials and the like bigger and growing coding programs now helpful?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that it's a good gateway into it. There's so many online resources that I think that are really accessible for anybody to learn, and just try it out just to see, what it's about. Create your own little website. I mean, why hire somebody to do your website when you can do it yourself, right? So
well, I can't do myself. So that's why.
Yes, you can, Heben. There is no I can't in the stewed, okay? This is a can-only stewed.
Yeah, and I think that's why it just clicked. I was like, okay, this coding thing is really, really fun. And it was something that I could see myself doing in my free time. So I was like, all right, I definitely
So this is something you were doing recreationally?
Yeah.
For fun, on purpose.
Yeah, for fun.
In addition to being a student at Dartmouth.
The balance is tough sometimes, but I think that I've always kind of been old young person, and that
Oh my gosh, you found your soulmate right here.
So the stuff that I would do is read and find things to do that are productive in my free time. So I think this was just another step.
Beautiful.
That's fantastic. So you started off teaching yourself how to code, but did you eventually have a mentor, or did you just start taking classes in school? How did you get good enough to do the amazing things that you've done?
Yeah, I started off by myself, and then I took some intro classes, and that was really great. That gave me a good foundation. And then I got the great opportunity over the summer to work for Time Inc. And my boss was just an amazing woman. She's, a pioneer in tech. Having direct access to her was really amazing. She kind of gave me the confidence to say that you belong in this industry, and she made me feel that I was valuable as an employee and just as a person. Which was really, really important for me to learn, and really motivated me to launch We Read Too and do everything else that I want to do.
So tell us a little more about We Read Too. How did that get started? What does it do for people who don't know?
Educators, they were like, wow, this is a great resource for me to find diverse books for
Their classrooms?
Their classrooms. Yeah. Because it has over 350 young adult and children's books, all written by authors of color. Parents find books for their kids, because that's what my parents used to do. They used to go to the bookstore and get me these books, but not everyone has their parents to do that for them. So it's good to have a resource like that, central. And so it's just been amazing, like getting the feedback from like so many people who are like, oh, this is great, or I wish I had this when I was a kid. And when I was in high school, actually, I was just to read books in the library all the time. But then I started noticing how all the characters were just like white girls, brown or blonde hair, blue eyes, brown eyes, and like, you know, how to describe it. Oh, the pale skin and like.
It's also funny to me. Sometimes their diverse characters are redhead.
Yeah.
Like, fam, this is not diversity.
Right.
Exactly. So I kind of got fed up. And I was like, why isn't there like just one resource where I could just find books with characters of color? And so I started looking, and there was a lot of different like websites or one blog post here and there, and like there was nothing central, like one location. So I thought, all right, well, I want to do that. But I didn't know how to, like, when I was in high school. So when I started learning how to code, I was like, this is perfect. Like, I could use, like, coding to make this come to life. 2 months straight, I would, like, go to work, go home, code, sleep. Like,
Wow.
like,
So you did all that by yourself.
yeah.
There's not like a little invisible team we don't see.
No, yeah. Nope. It was just me, like, grinding it, learning, and, like, just pumping it out. And I was able to get the app going. And it was a really great experience. It taught me how to balance my time, be disciplined, and I never expected what to happen. I wanted like one person to use it, and like I would have been fine. But
So how has the response been? Like,
Tell us about like what's happened, the things that you never expected. Like, what are those things?
There's over 2,000 people using it, and it's not even just in the United States. Like I looked at the demographics. There's people in Europe and Africa and the Caribbean. Like I was just like, what? I never would have expected the reach to get that far. I hope to expand it too, to have more than just like children's books as well. But yeah, it's just been great.
And it's gotten you a lot of attention online.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's got you on stage with the First Lady of the United States, which I can't even imagine.
yeah, what was that like?
What does she smell like? It's a weird question.
Everybody has been asking me that.
Really?
Actually.
Wait, what does she smell like?
I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember. Like, it feels so bad. But I'm sure it was amazing. Whatever. It was like right the day before. And I was reading, they were like, oh, Michelle Obama is going to be at Black Girls Rock. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to be there. But I would have never expected that she was going to honor like me and the other two Mad Girls and like say our names and like hug us. Like I had no idea. And it was funny because like we were doing the rehearsal, and then they brought us up for the rehearsal, and they're like, okay, like she's going to be here, then you're going to come up and like just be natural. Like she might hug you. I'm like, wait, what?
She might hug you.
They're like, and they say you can't stare at her too long. Make sure you stare at the audience. Like you don't want to just stare. But I just couldn't stop staring.
Oh my gosh. When I was watching it, I just could not like my brain could not believe that the First Lady of the United States was on television saying that like Black girls are amazing and are funny and are worthy and are worth it. So to be able to like see that in person and be like close enough to like maybe touch her, I would have died.
Smell her.
Maybe smell her.
And I think that, you know, even in her speech when she was talking about like the moments where like you're just struggling, you're thinking like, oh, is this really for me? Can I really do all this stuff? Like when you have those really hard moments, and she was just saying like, you know, I had those too. Like, you know, I had those doubts.
So affirming.
I feel you, girl.
Yeah, exactly. Like she, like, you know, she'd been through the struggle too. So it was just such an amazing moment. Like even after it was over, like we went backstage, and she was just so warm, and like she talked to
her
us
backstage.
Yeah. And like, yeah, she talked to us backstage, and it wasn't like, you know, it's not that I expected her not to be real or anything, but you know, you think like, oh, the politicians and stuff like that, you never know.
Polished and poised.
Yeah, but she was so down to earth. Like she was like, there was a camera lady. She was like, yeah, we need to get a picture. Come on. And like, I'm like, what is happening? And she just was so like caring, and you could tell she really cared about us as individuals, and like it was beautiful. It was crazy.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, no, I literally kept my composure like while she was there. As soon as like she walked off, I broke down crying. I just broke down crying. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I'm very excited and I'm not too ashamed to say I'm pretty jealous. I'm pretty jealous of you.
We're 1 degree removed from Michelle Obama.
So we basically hugged Michelle, kind of, sort of.
Exactly.
So when I think about being a woman in tech at all, period,
Yeah.
and when I think about being a woman of color in tech, okay, so I was an English major because numbers freak me out. Computers are cool for like social media. Beyond that, I know nothing about anything. But I mean, like most things that seem to be like very just like white male spaces, I would figure that it feels like a very sort of lonely place to be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And also, like, when you're trying to make your way through, like, a land that you've never maybe seen somebody who looks like you traverse, a lot of times you don't even know if it's, like, physically possible. When you don't see people who look like you doing these things.
Speak on it, Tracy.
It's like, who am I to think that I can even do that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
I think
Let it out, girl. Let it out.
so. I mean, for me, like in school, even in school, in my year. So I'm a second year student, and in my year, I'm the only black girl.
Only a sophomore.
Yeah, I'm the only black girl who's studying CS, like a full CS major. So I think that
Wow.
it's really lonely sometimes. I mean, it's not that like I'm not friends with like any of the other like CS majors. Like we
Yeah.
are. You have to like adapt, to be
Yeah.
completely honest. Like you have to adapt in order to like make it through, because it's not a major that you can, or a field that you can get through just alone. Like you can't. So I think that's the hard part. But I've been really trying to like get more people to take like even the intro class, But for me, I think that it's a little bit different, because like I've kind of asserted myself as like, this is what I want to do, and like I'm good at this. And
Yes.
and
Slay.
and I think that it's not always easy to do that, but my classmates have shown that like they've accepted me in a way that's like, okay, like she knows her stuff. When you're in a like feel like that, it feels like you always have to prove yourself, because like there's nobody else like you, right? So you have to prove that you belong to be there. So it's like always like you have to be performing, you have to be doing well. I always feel like I was reading on like Twitter the other day, and it was a woman of color in tech, and she said she always has to do a million things at once. She can't just like work. Like she can't just work at her job. She has to go to conferences.
Yeah.
She has to do this side project. She has to do this stuff on the side. You always have to be like extraordinary. Like you can't just be regular, because then they're like, oh, like.
Meanwhile, the mediocrity at Silicon Valley, swimming in it.
Stifling.
Yeah.
Do you worry about burnout?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. Women often don't stay in the field for long, because you're not just, especially a woman of color, it's not like you're just an engineer, right? You have to be a diversity advocate, right? You have to be a mentor. You have to be, you have to be all these different things, all these different hats that your, white male counterpart doesn't have to do anything. He
Just chilling.
He just does his job.
Yeah,
right?
shows up in his stupid hoodie, codes some shit.
Exactly. And like, so that could be like really hard. Why would you want to keep doing that? So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I plan to stick it out. So
I have no doubt that you will. We were creeping on your Twitter page earlier today, and we saw that you tweeted that you've already been offered 2 full-time jobs.
oh my god.
Listen.
So what's like the dream or the ultimate goal?
I used to think that like my goal at first, like when I got into tech, was like, oh, I want to work at Google. I want to work at Facebook.
Are you listening, Google?
But when you look at the low numbers, the low diversity numbers, I feel like I would rather better invest my energy and time in a smaller company that's catering to communities that I care about. There are a lot of companies like founded by people of color out here trying to make it.
Yeah.
So why not contribute my energy to those companies?
I feel like you have already learned so many lessons that it takes a lot of other people so many years to learn.
Years, and I'm still learning these lessons.
Like, you are literally telling my story.
Yes.
It's amazing. I'm so thrilled for you. I'm so happy. So we have this weird little half segment that we like to do with our interviewees. The segment is called, would you like to tell her what the segment's called?
Pew, pew, pew. It's just rapid fire questions.
That's why we call it.
We just like to have segment names for everything.
Right. So we just have a bunch of random questions to ask you. Ready?
Yeah.
Most important question of all.
Okay.
How do you feel about squirrels?
Hate them.
Good answer.
We need like a wall.
She's like, I listened before. I know the right answer.
But you are allowed to like squirrels. If that's just
It's
like
allowed.
It's,
We'll
yeah, you can do
tolerate
that.
it.
We won't love you any less. If you had to choose another name for yourself right this minute for whatever reason, what name would you choose?
Oh my god. I was thinking of Ava DuVernay, so Ava.
Yes. Excellent
Beautiful
answer.
name.
I love that.
Gorgeous name. Did you have a nickname as a kid? As a kid, like you're not like. Do you currently have a nickname?
Yeah, like a little family nicknames. Kaya Kukulaya.
That is so cute.
Kay. Yeah, not like anything fancy.
Aw. When is the last time you laughed until you cried?
Oh my God, I do that all the time. Probably like 2 days ago or 1 day ago. I'm always laughing and crying.
Do you remember what the thing was that made you laugh so hard?
No, I laugh at everything. I have the most obnoxious laugh. So, no.
It's cute. What advice would you give to girls in middle and high school who are thinking about getting into coding?
Oh my God, start. Don't let anyone, especially like stupid middle school boys, tell you that you can't do it because you're going to be a boss one day. Probably my boss. And just keep going. Like, I love when I hear stories about like middle school and high school girls like coding. I'm just like, yes. Like, I wish I started that young. But listen, you can start at any age, in my opinion.
Heaven, there's still time.
Yeah, see?
Y'all are generous. No. I know my limits.
Okay, 2 more quick ones. Who are your heroes?
My grandma and my mom.
Oh, mine too, girl. Mine too. So I mentioned earlier that we were creeping on your Twitter profile.
It's not creeping if it's public.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what I told myself.
Yeah, same.
Well, we were reading your Twitter profile, and we saw a tweet where you referenced having a corny programming joke remix of "I Ain't Got No Type."
Oh no!
We
Girl,
are,
you know we're gonna ask you to do
huge
that.
fans.
You know we love Ray Shrimmer.
You know this.
Oh my God!
Would you like to?
Would you like to share with the class?
Sure. Okay. Really corny.
Okay.
I ain't got no type.
Hey.
Bad bits is the only binary that I like.
Hey! I love it.
You're the most adorable human I've ever met. Oh my goodness.
That was incredible.
Fantastic. As you are inspiring tons and tons of girls and women and men, hopefully if they're listening.
Get it together, man.
You are inspiring the First Lady of the United States.
Yes.
You don't need me to tell you that you're fantastic, but you are fantastic. Thank you so much for stopping by. Come
Where
back
can everyone
anytime.
find your work? What do you want to plug?
Yes.
Where should they find you?
My Twitter is ktomas901. And you can look up Reread 2 in the iTunes App Store. And my website is kayathomas.info.
Yay. Follow her. Hit her up. People with money. Give her money so she can make amazing things.
Yes.
More people. Give her jobs. Kaya, when you get a great job, hire me.
And me.
I won't forget.
Thanks so much for kicking it with us.
girl.
Thank you so much for having me.
I don't got no type. Nah. Bad bitches is the only thing that I like. You ain't got no life.
All right, time now for some listener questions. Pam. Pam wrote to us with a lengthy inquiry. Here's the gist of Pam's situation. She is in love with Jane. Jane is not her real name. Jane and her have been friends for a while. She says she met her over 7 years ago, and I'm just going to read this tiny paragraph. Here's the thing. The initial not-so-innocent crush has had 7 years to evolve into a legit, full-blown, unrequited love affair. I'm very genuinely in love with her. However, she won't give me the time of day in a romantic sense because I'm white. Jane is very socially aware, socially conscious, and participates in a lot of social activism. It is through her that I've learned so many things and think about this world in a way that I would never have occurred to me before. The blinders of white privilege at work. I can honestly say having her in my life has been an eye-opening experience in the best possible way. So she says she doesn't blame her for her no whites allowed dating rule because, in her words, white people are crazy. Fucking insane was the quote. But basically, she says, I am positive if I was black, we'd be married or at least engaged by now. I daydream about our brown babies and taking over the universe with our ebony and ivory queerness. She's bi, I'm gay.
Here's her question, which is what we ultimately need to address.
Yes.
She says, do you think there's a way to convince her to take a chance on my mashed potato, cauliflower, mushy, apple-hued behind when her dating motto is black cards, black cars, all black everything? First of all, what a motto.
Yes. That's what I like. Okay, I think there's a very basic way to answer this.
Okay.
Which is if you've had 7 years of an unrequited crush on someone, it might be time to let it go. Make like Elsa. Let it go. Let it go. She's just
I feel
not
like
that
you've
into
been
you.
waiting to sing this song since we've had this podcast.
No, I haven't. Why would you think that?
I feel like that's kind of your jam, though. That's another conversation.
Okay, wow. Don't blame me.
I mean, you know, I want you to do what makes you happy.
My advice is she's probably not that into you.
Yeah.
Just on a very basic level.
I feel like if this were a letter coming from a man who was pursuing a woman who was not into him.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know how he could like convince her.
Yeah.
There should
be no convincing.
Right. There should be no convincing. And that also like kind of triggers me a little bit because I've had a lot of male friends who I found out who I thought like we were good friends or whatever. And later found out they were just kind of like biding their time and waiting on like the right time to like kind of like strike. And be like either when I'm like vulnerable or like when I'm not seeing anybody or whatever, you know, like taking very intimate information about my life and what's going on and just like waiting for their window to get in, which is like really hurtful for me as a woman. And it's also just kind of like creepy on their part.
Yeah.
Pam is kind of a similar situation. It's the exact same situation here. So, I mean, overall, like, you know, if you feel like this is your one and you haven't done it already, then shoot your shot. But if she says no, then you have to respect her boundaries and what she wants. In a perfect world, you know, race doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah. Let me just get to that. That's the second part of it,
I
think.
that's the other thing.
The other thing is the subtext of this letter implies you're positive. If you were black, you'd be dating her.
That's like...
You should not be that positive.
Because I mean, maybe she's literally just not.
Because you began. I mean, like you talk about how you think white people are quote fucking insane,
and a large portion of us could do with a good lobotomy,
which is wild. I would never say that. I've said some wild things about white people. I would never say that. But you say I'd like to think I'm not your average white person. Do you know who says that? Your average white person. I just don't think you should be so sure that if it's only the racial thing happening here.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's off-putting to her.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a little bit like, she sees. How do I say this? I've definitely been in positions where I can tell someone sees me as their black friend, and I feel like she might be able to tell if you are writing it this way to us.
Very possible.
I also kind of just. The brown babies thing, that's also like a weird... it's such a weird fetishistic thing to say.
It is. Also, I mean, like, the time that you're spending waiting on her to, like, change her racial policy, to change her application process, you could be missing out on, like, the person that you could be with elsewhere, you know?
Real
so I
love.
mean, right, not only are you doing her a disservice by not really like listening to the things that she's told you, you're doing yourself a disservice in like just hanging around and waiting on her to come around, which may never happen. And Pam, you deserve somebody that loves you for you and your mushy cauliflower apple potato behind, however you put it. Somebody wants that.
We want better for you, Pam.
We do. So if you haven't, shoot your shot. If you have, Don't shoot any more shots.
Let it go. I'm sorry. Just let it go.
Pam, I hope that was helpful. To anybody in Pam's situation, I hope it was helpful for you as well. If anybody else has any questions, if you need advice, we can answer that for you. We can't promise that it'll be great, but it will be honest and heartfelt, and we will try our best. Send us an email at anotherround@buzzfeed.com. You can send us a message on Facebook. Let us attempt to help you. And if we give you bad advice, you're not allowed to sue us. Because I just said
not
so.
Even an option.
I don't know. Heben.
What's it?
Guess what time it is?
Buy another round.
It is. Baby, come through. You deserve a round tonight.
Nice, Tracy.
Thank you. I've been working on it in the shower. I've been practicing my scale.
Okay, this week I finally watched the movie The Fault in Our Stars.
I refused to watch it. How was it?
It was incredible.
But you like sad movies and crying.
I do love sad movies. Okay, here's the thing. I love teen movies. I love sad movies.
I'm out. I'm done. 2 strikes.
So it's like I just saw this like The Fault in Our Stars as a book and as the movie like took over Tumblr for like 3 years. Like that's all the teens were talking about. And I can't believe I wasn't a part of it. So I saw it on HBO Go. I was surprised by it because I kind of knew like you just kind of know it's a sad cancer story. But I was surprised by how thoughtful it was. It's basically a movie about living with chronic illness, about disability, about how people treat that. I haven't read the book yet, but it's a very literary movie. It's like there's a lot of attention to the power of words and the power of language. And this story about Hazel and Gus and their like cute little like teen romance. Tracy,
I'm sorry.
It's just so sweet and makes room.
I'm sorry.
Are you taking selfies in the middle of this?
I did not mean to. I promise I didn't mean to.
Wow, Tracy.
I didn't mean to.
Yeah, right. Tracy's like, fuck this. I'm going to take selfies.
I was listening, I promise.
So it's a cute story about a teen romance, but I think it packs in more than you would imagine, and like really thoughtful things about pain and the room, like making room for pain in your life.
Jesus.
I know and obviously I like it because I cry a lot.
Yeah, well.
And it does little things right, like, you know how sometimes people will just like comically represent text messages on screen, like the font will be like 80 and like like they just can't get it right. I feel like there's a lot of shows like that or movies, but I feel like it gets the text message right because they communicate a lot over text, and like there's a lot of Gmail. I know this is like a tiny thing to point out, but like I just feel like you can't have a teen movie where you don't get their basic means of teen communication right. Like on screen. So I feel like it's a movie that respects teens and adults, like the adults in her world. And I don't know, I was completely charmed by it.
Aw.
I was really surprised by
like
how
charming
charmed I
things.
was. The guy is charming.
Aw.
So like, you know how on like the VMAs or whatever, you're like, who's this kid? Who's this kid? So the male lead, Ansel Elgort.
Ansel is his name in real life.
Yes, that is a real name.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I just didn't get it before. I didn't get what the teens were talking about. And once I saw this movie, I was like, oh, I get it. I'm completely charmed by this kid.
Huh.
He's like 21, so I can say that.
Okay.
And then the other star is Shailene Woodley. It's just exciting not seeing teen movies that are like, I'm not like the other teen girls. It's just like, it just takes her as she is. There's no weird pretense about it. I found it very charming. I'm not convincing you. I can see it in your face.
No, you're not. I'm sorry.
I know I'm not. But if teen movies are your jam and you like well done sentimental things, thoughtfully sentimental, not cloyingly sentimental.
Okay.
It's a thoughtful meditation on death and pain. I don't know.
I don't.
From a teen perspective, all the things I love.
Okay.
What are you buying around for? Who are you buying around for?
Well, I am buying around for everyone of drinking age in the city of Louisville, Kentucky.
Aww.
And actually, earlier I was talking to Kaya about how leaving your home city, especially when you're from like a smaller city and going to another city where things are like completely different,
Yeah.
it really makes you appreciate like where you're from. I mean, I did go through my I hate Louisville phase, and I was like young and I wanted to be like out and about, and Louisville was not really that place, and it's working on being that place. But it's just a good city, man. It's full of good people. The food is amazing. I just want to like go to the park, waterfront park,
Tracy,
and walk
so
the
cute.
trail. I want to go to the Highlands, walk up and down Bardstown Road, and just drive through Shawnee Park. West End is the best end. What up? What up?
I love people who love their hometown.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get to this point, and I'm so glad that I got there. I mean, it's great. It's good to have like a base or a foundation.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, like when I didn't feel that way about Louisville, like I was living in Philly.
Yeah.
No, I was living in Lexington, which of course I hated, and I just didn't feel like I really like had a thing that tethered me to a place aside from my family being at home.
Yeah.
And so like now, even if my family didn't live there, I would still like go visit Louisville regularly. Because I mean, it's just a good place. Everybody go visit Louisville. Louisville, round on me, but not really, for real. Like if you see me out,
Get me around.
I have nothing for you. Exactly. You can buy me around because I'm broke. I love you, Louisville. L1C4. Woo. We did it again.
What?
What credits?
Sorry. We did what? Yes, we did it.
Woo, woo. And we're sober. That's cool. Is this the first time we'll leave this place sober?
Oh, Tracy.
Man, do you think that we were equally as charming, though?
Yes. I don't know why you keep asking this.
I don't know either. I'm pretty charming. You're right.
You are charming as hell.
You're right. You're right.
Everywhere you go.
You're
I'm
right.
like, okay, I guess you charmed everyone into doing what you want.
Great show. We want to thank the amazing and inspiring and our future boss, Kaya Thomas for
Yes,
stopping by.
thanks, girl.
Thanks to Heben for being such a great co-host.
Thanks to Tracy. They're just always holding me down, sober or not. Never gonna let that go. I'll get you that shirt.
Please do.
Shout out to the Pod Squad, Jenna Weiss Berman, our producer.
Woo, 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 woo.
Eleanor Kagan. I'm sorry. I always try to do it the way Jon Stewart pronounces Kagan when he's talking about the Supreme Court Justice. This is why I should never do impressions. Never let me do impressions.
Are we sure we did not drink anything? Because this is getting crazy.
Shout out to Eleanor Kagan, our other producer, and shout out to Julia Furlan, our other producer.
And shout out to Paul, studio engineer, holding us down. Kept us supplied with water. Hope I can walk out of here after all this.
And a shout out to Jean Grey.
Yes, for the amazing music. Woo, woo, woo.
Shout out to Jean Grey. Shout out to Don Will.
Yes, for the continuous amazing musical blessings that you keep bestowing upon our lives.
Yes. And shout out to y'all for listening.
Yeah, y'all are great. We need to bow y'all around one day.
And you know where you can find us. Hit us up on Twitter at Another Round, Facebook Another Round. You can email us your inquiries.
AnotherRound@BuzzFeed.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Brookie McPoverty.
You can follow me on Twitter at Heaven Rants. Heaven like the noun, rants like the verb.
I think that's it.
We did it, guys.
So good. Yay. Oh shit, we have to go back to work now though.
I know.
That's a different feeling. Wasn't prepared for that.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
I saw Jesus on the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land.